Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. Back with another one. You know what we doing. We're back, people. We're back. Back with another one. Y'all know what it is. Glenpool Harding. We're back. Oh, look. Right before we begin, just want to let you know this episode is sponsored by Xbox Go. It's an AI camera. You know, sometime during the show, I'll throw the commercial on so y'all can get with it. All right. One of the best cameras out there for any kind of sport, especially basketball. And you don't have to hold it. It follows the ball or any player you want. But it's enough for that. Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And oh boy, we have a very, very special guest. This basketball head is a New York City great from Townsend Harris High School. Legendary status as a player. She racked up scoring records with over 2,000 points. And in 2004, named Newsday Queens Player of the Year. After starring at Townsend, she took her talents to Fairleigh Dickinson University. Salute to the FDU Knights. We are in the building. Y'all know how I feel about this. She became the backbone of her team. This basketball head excelled as a student athlete, becoming an academic All-American at FDU. After college, she became a nationally recognized educational consultant and licensed school counselor with 17 years of experience, guiding families and student athletes through the complexities of academic planning and scholarship recruitment. This basketball head is the founder of her own consulting company. She partners with parents, schools, athletic programs to open up, structure, and grow academies that meet the unique needs of students. This basketball head expertise in NCAA eligibility, recruiting, academic planning, and the benefits and pitfalls of reclassification has made her a sought-after speaker at conferences across the country. This is how it works, people. Saw her online, her messages grabbed me as soon as I clicked onto them and started scrolling for more and more and more. And once y'all get introduced to her tonight, you're going to be doing the same thing. This basketball head work is grounded in a coach-like approach that blends candid, step-by-step guidance with encouragement. Whether she's helping a family navigate the path to a college scholarship, coaching the school on compliance, or speaking on stage about student athletes' well-being. This basketball head's mission is simple: empower students to thrive academically and athletically while ensuring schools and families do it right from the start. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show the founder of Shanay Howard Consulting, the National Student Athlete Educational Consultant. That's right. She's number one in my book. Shanay Howard. Let's go.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Good
Hello,
evening. Good
hello.
evening.
Good
How you doing?
evening. Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Nah, this is awesome. Look, like I told you, I'm gonna say this on air. I told you off air. Your videos are inspiring. They're very motivating, and I know that if the people who you're talking to listen and follow your instructions, they're gonna be successful.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Right.
that.
I don't really come across too many people online that's really captivating me on the basketball side. There's very few because you got a lot of uh, pushers and handlers and people who think they know the game and really giving out horrible messages to the student athletes. And you're one of one. So I want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so
That's
much.
right. And you from New York City. Let's give it up for that. And Fairleigh Dickinson. That's
Hello.
right. That's right. No doubt, no doubt. I want to jump right into this, right? Who introduced you to the game?
Really, the WNBA. In 97, the league came to life, and I was like, oh, I like this. I can do this. I am the oldest child in my family, so it wasn't like I had an older sibling or anything. But I fell in love with Kim Peratt, that used to play for the Houston Comets.
Hmm.
Ann Myers, another player back in the day that played in the women's basketball league, and then Cheryl Swoops. And so that's how I fell in love with the game. Loved it. I was a 95 Bulls fan. My husband makes fun of me for that. But that too introduced me coming out of New York. You got New Knicks fans, but I was a 95 Bulls fan. So, that in all encompassing, really the league, WNBA coming to life. And I was like, yo, I really want to do this. And that's kind of how I got introduced to it.
Let's talk about young Shanay growing up in Queens and what was like for life for you coming up growing up in New York City.
Listen, I came from two-parent household, middle class. My family, we lived in Queens. I went to public schools my whole career. And we just was a church-going family. At 12 years old, I decided I wanted to pick up a ball, started basketball, went over not too far to Rosedale, Queens, ended up at Positive Direction in St. Clair's gym. And I threw the ball over the rim, but Joanne told my mother, listen, I could work with her. She gonna be able to play, and the rest is history, right? So she worked with me from 12 all the way up to 18, and really poured into me. And I think it was because of her, not just her giving me an opportunity, but believing that, hey, listen, there's something we can get out of this, right? And she didn't know. She was like, hey, she may not be a superstar, but she's gonna learn the game. She's gonna learn it right. But it turned out I got a Division I scholarship, and things developed from there. But I'm one of 5 children. I'm actually a twin. It's one in the middle, and I have twin brothers. And so I came from
Wow.
3 boys, 2 girls. And so I had people to play. We had a starting 5 no matter what. So we was in the, playgrounds playing and doing these things. And once I started really learning the game, then my brothers were like, yo, you want to play my sister? So then that was there. There was that too. So, but it was fun.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about the importance of Positive Direction and everything that they mean to the city and to the youth. Because I know for one they're very dedicated. We're helping kids on and off the court, and when they have kids who move on to high school and college, they go out and support. They're there cheering them on. You see them always. I always see them at games supporting their former players. As Miss Pinnock call her babies. Let's talk about them real quick and shed some light on their program and what they mean to the city.
Positive Direction has been around over 35 years. So, and it's an organization. Obviously, Joanna Arbitella Pinnock is over the organization with her husband, but it's a family atmosphere, right? They come. It don't matter if they have a kid playing or not. They're coming around. They're gonna really build you. They're in the community. They are an independent program that plays on these circuits, right? I thought that's something to point out. I understand now how much Joanne did for us by being independent, not necessarily going shoes, sneaker circuit or this, but we played in all the Nikes. Every year from 13, 14, we went to New Orleans. We went to Nike in Chicago. We were on the stages with the top places because she exposed us to this. I don't know how, the Lord allowed me to stumble upon this, but because of her, I was shown the word. We went to Deep South Classic and they fundraise and they accept donations. And they really offset the cost for families of the community by doing these fundraisers, but they give the families of the community an opportunity to go to the next level. And so, I was a part of one of her first teams, and her starting five, like I said, I don't know too many organizations that can say it. We all got Division I scholarships.
Mm.
I know for a fact I didn't play basketball for my whole life, so it was really big for me, that we got these scholarships. There were some other players that were good, like Jasmine, some of the players that were already recruited all over the city. But for me, a person that just didn't play that sport, it eventually until 12, she helping the communities, and she does it consistently for people. So she sent boys, girls, all over, all over the country for sports, but then also that support is big. My first game in New York and New Jersey, I had a PD section all the way through high school. I had a PD section.
That's right. That's right.
If anybody see PD, if you don't see Joanne, you seeing one of the team moms or one of the directors, like Alethea. Alethea will be there. Alethea Briscoe, another one, Tim Briscoe. They are pinnacles. They are huge people in the community of not just Queens. Every major New York organization know these people, right? And so they give back. And I've noticed over the years, people are starting to give Joanne her flowers where they should have probably given them long before. And she has 3 beautiful children, a set of twins, and Jennifer. And now they're starting to be in part of this space, and now people are seeing her. But I'm like, she's been doing this. She's been setting the ball high, and her family as well. Her brother is the head of school at Christ the King and the coach. So they've been a basketball family. I had an awesome opportunity to coach with her brother at the Mary Lewis Academy. I'm Robert. So it's like we are a family. I've been with them forever, and I tell people all the time, I know what your situation with Joanne or Positive Action, but y'all can never talk bad to me about them. I'm going to always stop whatever I'm doing, no matter where I am, to come help them because they help me.
No doubt. No doubt. Definitely well deserved. All right. So, after you going through Positive Direction, you wound up attending Towson Harris, right?
Yep.
With all the other schools going on, Springfield Gardens, August Martin, Christ the King, St. Francis Prep. Why did you choose Towson Harris?
Wow. So one thing about my family and my mother in particular, at the end of the day, we were going to do grades. We are going to do academics. And not that she didn't quite believe I was going to be this student athlete at the next level. She was like, you going to go with what I know you can do, and that's going to be grades. And, in New York City, we get to choose the high schools we go to and get the whole book and everything. And Towson Harris, you didn't take a test, but you had to be accepted into it. And she was like, listen, academically, it's going to set you up. And I was either going to go there or a boarding school. So all the other schools actually were not an option. So I only applied to one school in 8th grade, and it was Towson Harris. And in my head, I was like, if I don't get it, I'm going to boarding school. So it is what it is. And I got in. And that's when I ended up choosing that school to attend, playing on a team, being part of basketball. And so I chose it because academically, I knew it would set me up for success.
And how was your transition into high school, coming from middle school? Like, what was the transition like on and off the court? You said you excel academically in the classroom. How did you balance both?
It was new and it was hard because Towson has a vigorous academic schedule. So I had to learn how to do this. And so I had to set up a routine. And again, this is where Positive Direction comes in. I went to school between certain hours, and I knew if I didn't take the bus straight back to Rosedale so I can get in the gym and get some shots, I would have missed out.
Wow.
Because if I go home, then I'm like, I'm stuck in the house for the night. I'm not going to do it. So we took public transportation back in our day. There were no Ubers and all that stuff. So
right.
I'm going to use this free school Metro card, and we got 2 swipes to get here. I'm going to take that second swipe on my way back home, and I'm going to make sure I get to the gym. So I had to learn how to get my work done during school, during the lunch breaks. And then when it was fall season or preseason, I would go to the gym, get up shots. And she allowed me. Like, I had the keys to the gym, basically. She works at the school, so she would just have it unlocked. We would get the shots out, and then I would head home and do my homework. And we would do this until the season. And I learned how to balance that because I had access. I had more access than many people did, but it came at a price because I didn't get to go home after school. I had to have my gym clothes in the bag after I got off that bus, and I was walking up the street off the Q85, Q5, whatever bus was available, and we was getting to the gym. So I had to learn how to balance it, but it came with being intentional, asking for access, and then having someone to support me in that.
Yeah, it says you averaged 22 points a game, 6th in the city in scoring, 12.7 rebounds a game. All right. Despite the constant double teams every night. So she was most dangerous on the baseline where she was almost unstoppable getting to the basket. This is crazy, Shanice. You was putting up numbers out there, girl.
Listen, I had to. People gonna crack me if they see it. Say they fucking me up. I was at Townsend Harris, but it was only me. Like,
Right.
put in some numbers. But I think it prepared me for college. I think it prepared me for the next level. And it's really just it was like learning adversity. A lot of people want to be the top player. They want to be that person. They want to be that go-to. But you don't even know if you got it until you're put in a situation. But I really enjoyed playing, and I really fell in love with it. And I think it really prepared me. And once I started doing that, getting double team and all this stuff, it really made me realize I could go to college and play basketball. Like, this is something I can do. You have to realize when I got to high school at ninth grade, I went straight to varsity. But that's only 2 years after starting to learn how to play basketball. Some people had years. But I always say this: what's for you is for you. And I really believe God gave me this gift and this ability to learn this game at a quicker pace, so that I could excel in the future.
And I think when a player like yourself is put in that position, it allows them to explore their superpowers, right? And I tell kids, I said, listen, you put yourself in a situation where you can explore your superpowers, because some people go into teams and organizations and they're stagnated, right? So they're not able to explore superpowers. They don't know what they can do, maybe until later on, right? So you're being forced in that position to kind of learn the game, and then gradually learn. Okay, I got these superpowers. I can use this and make that some of your strengths. I think that kind of help you move forward, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when I speak to kids now, I always tell them there's something that you do that no one else can do. And I think me living that and having to figure that out in real time helps me guide families. And I'm like, you're trying to do everything that 99% of people are doing, but you want to be part of 1%. So
right.
Do something different. Like, stop doing what everybody else is doing and do something different. I know I lived a different life, and I'm thankful for it. But also in the game, like you say, your superpowers, I would have never knew I was attacking from the baseline but then I realized most people don't like to do the baseline because it's a harder shot. So guess what? Shanay going to perfect the heck out of this baseline. Soon as this person bites, I know I'm going to the rack. And that was my thing. And not in college because they got smart. They know how to cut up the baseline.
Yeah.
I had to learn a new superpower in college. Learn how to shoot that three a little better.
Right.
In high school, that was it. So I love that you said that, but I agree. And I know there's something that kids need to know. Like, you have something that no one else does. But if you don't push yourself and you still try to do what everyone else is doing, you're never going to stand out. You're not going to find your elite skill that you do have.
That's a fact. So Miss Pinnock sent her love, because I got people on Instagram, Facebook watching. So she sent her love. She sent her heart emoji. You know what I mean? So definitely. So you had one of these Michael Jordan flu games, right?
Yes.
You had one of those games, right? You had this 36 points, 16 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists against Bayside. Do you remember that game?
I do. It's some of them. It's some of them games. I got one against August Martin too. I still talk to my friends about that today. But that Bayside game, when you dead sick and you can't, I feel like everybody needs a flu game, right?
Yes.
if you play the game long enough, you have flu. I don't remember everything that happened, but I knew I worked harder in that game than I've ever had to. But it resulted in great things. But I felt like this is when all that practice and all that stuff comes to fruition. Everything gonna drop. You can't, in those type of games when you're sick, you can't try to score. It just has to be in you. And so I tell kids all the time, if you're practicing and you're shooting hundreds of shots and you're doing your push-ups, you're doing everything, when you do have a game, guess what? That game going to rely on that reservoir of all that practice, that muscle memory, that everything. You're going to go to work. That's why elite and great players, they can have flu games because they practice. They didn't just show up and say, no, this is me tapping into that reservoir of everything I put in and day out. But the fact I don't remember them stats. Listen, just hearing, I'm like, I was pretty good. I don't talk about my basketball stuff as much anymore.
We're here to celebrate you tonight, Queen. We're here to celebrate you tonight.
It's so far gone. I'm like, bruh, wow. that double. You got me out here sounding like Asia Wilson, 4-time MVP. Shout out to my girl.
That's right. That's right. Salute.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time in high school and different things. But again, shout out to Positive Direction. Like I think about this, and I think about independent programs like Joanne. They're not many, but like I did not play the game. And then I'm doing stuff like this less than 3 years after. Somebody got to be able to tap into that. You got to go into an organization that's going to be able to feed you and really let you tap into your greatness. And that's what they gave me. And that, to this day, I have no words for it, but it's priceless, and I'm always truly grateful for that.
Now, because as we get into later on what you're doing, I think it's good to give people a foundation, right, to understand where you come from and why you talk the talk that you talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that August Martin game, you had 29, right? And you had 23 in the second half, which is absolutely crazy, right? Like, when you get hot, right? The first half probably was a little bit slow, but that second half was crazy.
Everything was dropping. If you play at August Martin court, that sideline and them fans is right there. I was
And you guys won 71-63.
And we wasn't supposed to win.
Hey.
So that's why I remember that game even better. That was a life pivotal game for me in that time. But it was, even high school in general was great. Like I told you, I enjoyed it so much that other coaches from other schools used to pick me up to go play an all-star game. Because my school traditionally, Townsend Harris, just academically, we weren't just doing it. But that's when I started meeting back in our day, we were maybe enemies on the court, but all the great players were really friends off the court. Like we was hanging out, we was going to all-star games, playing in Queens versus the city, and all these Catholic school versus public school, PSL, plus versus like that's what we used to do. These days it's a little bit different, but like this is what we used to do, and that's what made New York City basketball great.
Yeah, I want to put it out there, but I did that my second year with Basketball Heads. I did the Tom Kachowski all city game, put together the best players in Catholic school versus the best players in public school, and it was dope. So definitely trying to bring that back. But let's talk about your last game against Midwood, right? You had 21 points, you was 10 of 12 from the foul line and grabbed 17 rebounds. Now, even in college, you shot 74% from the field, right? How important are free throws? Because I think that's one part of the game that gets overlooked, right? And you get some great players that are horrible free throw shooters, right? And they miss out on opportunities to get those extra points. How did being a good free throw shooter benefit your game?
Listen, I'm a numbers girl, and even like with my money right now, you don't play around my money. I can count them. If it's free, I'm gonna get it. So I couldn't understand why people would miss. So for me, if it was even frustrated, I wasn't a 90% free throw shooter. So it was something that I'm like, listen, if I'm not hitting the shots, if I'm not getting into the basket, I can't make it. I'm gonna make some free throws. Like I'm not gonna leave this game. The bare minimum I can do is make free throws, and it's very important because that's what kept me on the floor. I'm gonna be very transparent with you. I'm a great defender. I was a great shooter, but I was one heck of a free throw player. So I always knew, even if I was having a bad game, guess what? If the game was close or this, the coach gonna put me on the floor because they're gonna make them foul me, or try me to get the ball. So every play was coming to me, so I could finish the game, so I could shoot these free throws. And so it's very important. Again, this goes back to finding your superpower. I took all 10 of my seconds and I shot the free throws. And if that's something you do well, if it's a student athlete and that's something you really do, perfect it. Be a 90%. I want you to be a 90% shooter. I want you to be an 83% free throw shooter. Like, listen, you're going to get in the game. People always say, I don't know what I got to do, coach, to get in the game. I'm not hitting my shots. Make a free throw.
That's a fact.
It's simple. So for me, it's simple. It was simple. And I was like, listen, I'm going to figure out how to make some free throws.
What was your recruiting like? Like when before you decided to kind of settle on FDU, what was your recruiting like, and who were the other schools you were interested in or were interested in you?
Yeah, so I, again, new to this, like people was coming to our games, but I had 2-3 other players that were heavily recruited. And so back in our day, you know, I tell kids all the time, I had boxes of letters. Like, so you knew you was,
That's a fact.
and then when you got the letters at home,
Yes.
letters start coming. And I thought, again, I was heavily academic. So I thought they were like college letters because I'm taking my SATs. And then I started opening, oh, that's handwritten. Okay, that's Wagner. That's this. So I had
Hold on. I made this out to you. Tell the people, because I go through this all the time. Tell the people, because this is a difference, right?
yeah,
You got the difference, right?
handwritten letters.
You got the handwritten joints, right? You
Yeah,
get the handwritten joints, right? There's
Yeah.
a big difference between the handwritten joints and the standard.
Yeah. Those are kid letters. That
Right. Right. Because now kids get, you know, text messages, but you know,
or inboxes, you know.
Right.
I knew it started to shift, and it was around my sophomore into junior year, and I started getting these. I didn't get a call, but they called one coach, and Ty Grace to this day. I always speak her name. I don't speak a lot of coaches' name, but Ty Grace recruited me to FDU. But she also saw something different in me and called Joanne. And Joanne couldn't believe it. She's like, who you calling me about? Shanay. You ain't calling me for nothing.
Right.
And she's the head coach at Howard University to this day. But I had letters from Howard. I had letters from all the schools in NEC, Wagner, you name it, even up to Michigan State, and different schools of that nature. But for me, it was like, I didn't understand how big it was because it still was new to the game. And I don't have any regrets. I believe the Lord aligned my path on purpose to be close. So I went on a Wagner visit. I went on Radford. Like I went on locals, not too far away from schools. I did not go more than 2 hours outside of my zone. I had a thing. I wanted my parents to have all my games. That was something very dear to me. I wanted to make sure they could go to my games. And yes, I did St. Francis in New York and different things like that. And I studied on FDU because it had a forensic psychology program. And I wanted to study forensics. Back in the day, CSI was big. So I was like, I'm fascinated about that.
Yes.
And wow, they have this at FDU. And they had a great official visit. I had a great official visit. I met one of my lifetime friends. She's my sister, Mercedes Walker. And I shared a room with her. And it was like, I could see myself here. And they had an honors program. It was things I was looking for, a big site. I wanted to get jobs. And I just knew I was coming back to New York. So I was like, I'm not going to get that far so I can do internship and be able to get home. And they had everything I needed. And I think I knew I was going to be able to play. And people sometimes don't say, oh, this, I knew I wanted to play. If I'm going to pick a school, I want to play. I want to be on the floor. I want to be a part of the team. I don't just want to I'm going to earn my spot. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted to be able to play and have impact. And I can double major at the school. So I double majored at Fairleigh Dickinson. And I was able to be in the honors program. So it had to be able to give me everything I needed. And that's why I picked it.
And you started the season off good. You had started off with 10.6 rebounds at Manhattan and followed with 14 points versus Lafayette, right? Did you come in right off the bat kind of like figuring your way and you're on your way, or it took some time?
Let's be honest. I was like, oh, this is different. Everybody good here. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It did took some things. It was a person in my position. There was a person she was an older student, athlete that she was there. And to this day, she may not admit it, but homie saw me coming and was like, I'm about to beat her down. And listen, practices was hard. I mean, we was ripping jerseys. I was getting thrown to the ground. And I think that was their way of like, you're not about to come in here, freshman, and take my spot type of thing. But this is the part that no one talks about. I had to have that mental perseverance. And I was like, oh, boo, you must not know. I'm from New York. We about to get this. And so I didn't start only 4 games in my career. 4. And it was those first 4 games in freshman in my first year. After that, I started every year for the rest of my time. And anytime a freshman came, I did the same thing. Like, boo, you gonna have to work triple hard to get this spot. But it was hard. But then that transition wasn't too hard once I got it, because I knew what a rhythm was. Remember, I was taking a bus, going to the gym, going to St. Clair's after school. So what I started doing is I set my class schedule up, because academically I was quite sound. I did not have classes on Mondays or Fridays. I blocked in my schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Mondays and Fridays, I was in the gym working out. Shout out to Mensa Peterson, who was on the men's team. So I knew he had individual workouts in the morning. He would come work out with me in the morning. Then I would come back in the night. And then me and Mercedes got a job at the fitness center, so we could pick up shots at the end of the day. So we was killing it off fronts. Like we just wanted to make sure we were great, and it doesn't stop. I think a lot of students get to the next level and they think it stops. No, you got to keep working. You got to keep getting better. And so I just made a plan, and the transition was hard, but I was a stickler for being intentional and making sure I got on the floor.
And I try to tell kids, every level you're gonna have to start over, right? There's a transitional phase, right? Transition when you come into high school, transition once you leave high school and go into college, you have to start over. And a lot of kids aren't built for that, especially you come in being, the main person on your team and you got to start over. It can be a knock to your ego.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. And it can kind of push you back
Yeah.
in what you're trying to do. Which is super crazy. Hold on for 1 sec. I'm gonna come right back. I just want to pay some bills real quick, and I'm gonna get right back to you. All right, y'all. Like I said in the beginning, Xbox Go. All right, the AI self-held camera. Like you don't have to hold this. It's just put it on a tripod, and it does everything itself. All right, it's the ultimate hands-free tracking and recording system with over 10 team sports, including soccer, basketball, football, you name it, is there. You could do live streaming as well. It do instant highlights, and it has a way where you can connect to a player if you just want to focus on one player. All right, so we run this commercial, and we're gonna be right back. All right. All right. If y'all check out Xbox Go, you want to cop it, just enter the code BASKETBALLHEADZZ and you'll get 10% off. No monthly fee, just a one-time payment. All right. Let's get back to the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now, you do all you can at Fairleigh Dickinson, right? Y'all do well. Did y'all? How well did y'all do? Like, what was y'all best year as a team?
Probably my junior or senior year. My first year was not. We were 2-25. Let me tell you something. I never had lost that many games. Like I was like, what was this? Obviously there were some coaching changes. That's when I lost all my staff. So people don't talk about this, but I went through 10 like 10 coaches, not only 2 head coaches, but the assistants. Like
I experienced that. I experienced that early on in Fairleigh Dickinson.
But and reproving yourself and reestablishing and learning from so many different people who saw your game different or saw you this or you could do this. That was a lot over my first 2 years. But it was like, listen, this is what comes with the territory. Back then we didn't have no transfer portal. I remember I called Joanne and my mother after the 2-25. I was like, I'm out of here. I don't have to do this. They was like, I'm not playing. They was like, you're not going nowhere. Like it was that. So like that was the end of that thought process. But it was difficult. It was difficult in the beginning. But I guess my junior, senior year was the best time. We made postseason and we never made the tournament, my group. But I would say those last 2 years were the greatest.
Nah. And now we talked about the careers over in college, and you got to make that transition out into the real world. Mm-hmm. How was that transition for you?
It was, you know what, I would be honest, it was easier for me. As I got older, I started knowing exactly who I was. Unlike some others and different people at my age bracket, I was more mature than most. So, at this time, I'm really walking with the Lord. I'm really tapping into my community, to my faith. And I really knew what the Lord had called me to do. I just couldn't figure out when I was going to do that. So I was really, again, intentional in praying. And so by our junior year, the top 3 players on FDU, we get agents. Like we get these agents coming, like, we're going to get you overseas and we're going to do this. So by senior year, I'm like, it's cool. I've got a pro contract. I'm going to go overseas after this. I'm doing enough to get this. Graduation comes. It's the month. It's May. And I have one more meeting and I was like, hey, I'm going to go home, meet with my pastor just to run this by. I wasn't feeling officially confident. And he was like, if you're not, then I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. And he tells me this antidote about something. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go pray. I called the agent. I was like, this is what I need. I need to be able to go overseas and have them pay for my master's, like to start my grad degree. I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. Like I'm not about to be in another country where I'm the only American, maybe two, because people don't know that either. You have 2 Americans per international team.
Yep.
People don't want to talk about this, but and it's probably I'm gonna be in a place I don't speak the language. So what am I doing with all that spare time? I was like, what am I gonna be twiddling my thumbs? Like I want to start my grad degree. So when I do decide this is it, I'm gonna go back into this. This is not men's basketball. This is women's basketball. They only play a certain time of year. So I'm gonna need to be able to do this. I tell the agent, he's like, oh, I can't find any program that's really willing to do that. And it's not, I had my answer. I didn't go past go. I didn't think twice. I firmly believed that was a sign for the Lord. And I said, that's fine. I'm not going. And this is 2 weeks before graduation. So now I've already told my mother, we think we're going pro. They all like, okay, girl, you going pro. You know, and then I was like, nah, I'm going to grad school. Like, I was like, that's it. And here's the thing, nothing changed. Everyone's still supporting me. You're graduating. This. Okay, cool. You go this. And what the Lord has showed me in that process was that I didn't need to go pro. I was going to go pro in something other than sports, right? I was going to become an amazing counselor. I entered the workforce at 21, 22 years old, straight into the school system. And 17 years later, here I am with all this experience and things. And now my teammates did go pro for a year, and then they tried the college coaching and they've done all that stuff. But by the time they finished playing, I had been tenured in the school system, right? Like, so I have had all this experience, and it was really the impact. And I got to go back to coaching. So at 22 years old, I went right to positive direction. I started coaching again, and it was so fulfilling, and it helped me become who I am today.
Why isn't that promoted more, right? Because, you know, everybody's saying, you know, I didn't go pro, but you're a professional. You are pro.
You are pro. Like, you are. I don't know why it's not promoted more. And I have the I met Jared Green about a year ago, and that's Daryl Green's son. And he has an organization called Corporate Athletes. So I've been taking his tag, but I give him his credit. And I believe he went all the way to the NFL. His dad is a Hall of Famer, obviously, but corporate athlete, like you can go pro in something other than sports. And that same mentality that you took to get a Division I scholarship or stand out, it's the same we got to do in the marketplace. And it's not talked about enough because everybody wants to see the person on TV. But these days with social media, look up, you and me, we on TV, we on Instagram, media.
That's a fact.
We have careers. And I don't consider it a downplay. I consider it, wow, I'm showing these kids this is something else you can do in this sport. And a lot of times it takes us stepping up. It takes us getting on the mic. Like we talked about this off camera. You was running. I was like, I'm done coaching. I'm doing this. But we also had to make the decision like, yo, I'm going to do this.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So when did you start to crawl into this space, right? When did you start your consulting company? And when did you figure out like, okay, there's some information that's not out there that I can provide?
Yeah.
Right. When was that aha moment?
I knew there was information that wasn't given when I was working with the NCAA when I was in college. My last 2 years, I got to represent the whole Northeast Conference with the NCAA for SAC, Student Athlete Advisory Committee. And I was sitting in there, I was like, there's not the information. But when I graduated and I got into the program with Joanne, I started coaching and we started having seniors. Then I'm on the other side, right? I'm looking at this recruiting process and I'm like, okay, these parents don't know. And then I started thinking like, I never knew.
Right.
No one ever asked me if I had an NCAA ID number. No one ever asked me if I took NCAA core classes. I was like, oh my goodness, the Lord bless me, because I never knew any of this. I did it at the last minute, but if I hadn't missed a class or credit, I wouldn't have known until that moment. And that really was the aha moment. And I remember pitching it to Joanne and saying, hey, can you allow me to speak to the families? And I'm going to do their transcripts. I didn't know what I wanted to call it, but you do it. And she was like, yeah, again, here she is again, giving me a platform, listening, allowing me to spread my wings in her space, basically. And a lot of people don't do that. That's why I always will point her out, because some people will gatekeep, like you said, and like, no, it's my joint. You can't, I'll do it, but you give me the information. No, she allowed me to do it for free. And I started really learning the process and doing it. And then fast forward, I get married. I moved to the DMV area, which is another mecca of basketball.
Yeah.
I realized, this is crazy out here. Like, people pay people to do this? Oh, okay, this is going to be something. So I started pushing into schools, and they started paying me to come, paying me for organizations. I end up meeting Wayne Pratt, who is Kevin Durant's dad, and he's
Yep.
like, yeah. And I met him through Osman Bangora, who I came just to coach. I was doing this coaching things. I'm like, coach, and I was like, nah, you need to do this. I got a group of boys that I need to make sure you get into college. And he pitched it to Wayne. Wayne was like, create a position. That's what you do. And then they made me the director of education, Team Durant, and the rest is history. It's been there that way forever, and I started working with a lot of Nike programs, going to camps, different things. And it picked up really quickly, even though this has been over a 17-year journey, right? Like
Right.
I'm speaking, I'm doing this. Now I'm getting invited into places, but it all started from, the basement of St. Clair's, being able to give a speech and really tap into this. And then I just added it to my job. Like as a licensed school counselor, nobody in the schools wanted that role on the portal. So every school I went to, I'm like, oh, I'll do it.
Right.
So the more I got into it, the more I started learning the rules. And now I study them. Now I know them out the back of my head. I'm going to conferences. I'm going to webinars. And so that's really where it came from.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? You put yourself in a space where something can happen and amazing things start to take place.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, do you remember the first time you spoke to parents and had your first speech that you had to give, and how was that, and what was your nerves like?
Listen, I was very nervous because I was like, here I am about to like help them, but I can influence someone's life. And so I was preparing for it. I had all my papers, and not that I don't prepare now. I don't want no people to think I'm not, but it was very, very nerve-wracking. I was very nervous. And I would say the bigger the stages have gotten so far, like even me speaking to a Nike at the head of the EYBL Directors Conference, I'm nervous every single time. I'm like, Lord, give me the words. Make sure I'm important, because when I do speak, while it is a template and I'm saying some of the same stuff, every one of my talks are customized to the audience that's there. I do firmly believe this is my calling and that the Lord has placed me here on purpose. So I always ask the Lord to give me something in my mouth that somebody needs that's hearing it. Like I need you to connect. And there has not been a talk or a camp session or something that I don't get people like, that's just what I need to hear. You changed my life. You did it. And it's really the Lord. It's not me. I take no glory for it, but I make sure that is there, and those nerves, and that it allows the Lord to really just move. I want no credit for this. I just want it all to be his glory, but it really reminds me when I tell kids, you have to do what you do well. You have to do what you were called to do, because then and only then will you be quote unquote successful. And so it was very nerve-wracking. To this day, it's still nerve-wracking. Don't get me wrong. But I do remember it. But I'm so grateful it was in a smaller place in the basement of St. Clair's, but it was still enough families. And I think even my first time I ever worked with a Division I athlete, like I helped a school. I moved to Virginia. I'm with this new school that never existed before, never had a graduating class. And we had our first Division I athlete, and the school was like, it was Vanderbilt. I could say Vanderbilt because he ended up going there. And it was like, you don't have a portal. So I had to build an NCAA portal. Why would I know how to do that? Nerve-wracking. So I'm building this NCAA portal, putting in the classes, doing all this. But every time I had one of those moments, I look back now, 17 years later, the Lord, you wanted me to do this, Lord. You wanted me so that now you have to pay me to come build your portal or update it or do this. The Lord was just laying the foundation for me to get that experience, because that's not something you go to school for. You're never going to know unless you're in it. So I love the nerves, and it has helped me.
All right, now explain to people who probably not to know about this portal and why it's so important to have.
Yeah, so the NCAA portal for high schools, every school is supposed to have an NCAA portal, and it lists the classes that are NCAA approved for your student athletes. So every student athlete has to take classes that are listed on that list, and at least of them have to be 16 core credits. For Division I, you need 16 core credits, and you have to have a minimum 2.3 GPA. CUME for Division II is 2.2 GPA. And so it's very important. Without those classes, or you taking classes off that list, none of those classes will count. And if I can't make it more clear, it's like if your student went to a school that didn't have a portal, but they're on track for graduation, that's great. They won't be eligible. You can take any class, they have to be on that portal. So many times, and it's not talked about enough, that kids are a credit short, a half a credit short, and this and that, and it's because they took a class in their senior year or junior year that was not on the list. And a lot of times, every year, with the minimum requirement, 16 core credits and a 2.3 QM GPA, you would say to yourself, that's not even that hard. Like, why are kids missing this? Why are kids deemed ineligible? It's because schools don't know. And for Division One, you have to do something called a 10-7. 10 core classes must be completed prior to the start of your seventh semester, and 7 of them must be English, math, or science. And you have to do that consecutively. 16 core credits within 4 years. And schools don't know this. They'd be like, oh, they can take that next year. Like, I get kids' transcripts every time. They'd be like, oh, they took the history next year. Well, why didn't they take it this year? Oh, because they need a PE credit. No, boo. They need that history credit. Like, it has to be done in those orders. And so that portal is uber important. And I always tell parents, you go home, Google NCAA portal, type in the school name. This is free knowledge. Type in the name. If a check mark doesn't appear at the top of that page that says cleared, you have a problem. If it don't say cleared, if it say in review, flagged, not cleared, any of those things, you need to call a meeting. Or your student athlete does not need to attend that school unless they're going to change it.
So explain to me this. How did an athlete with a 4.25 GPA become academically ineligible?
Easy. One of the AP classes that student took was not on the portal list.
I got a 4.25 GPA. Like, come on. What's the, you can't give me no slack. What's the deal?
No, and that's the thing. I love how people, and this is a great thing. I know kids that have 4.0 GPAs, 5.0, and they love to say it, but the NCAA has every right to say it's written in plain English. You got to have these classes on here. And if with a 4.25 GPA, guess what? You need to be looking this up. When I even tell that story, and if you look on even that story I posted, people are like, well, who was that? It's the parents' fault. It's the school's fault. It's the students' fault. It's this.
I did check it out. That's why I put it in that way. Like, wow, you can't cut me no slack.
Yeah, and did you see how many people said, oh, that happened to me? That's my story. I ended up going D3. That's my story. That's why so many kids, if they're really talented, they end up going D2 because D2 has no time limit. And every year you're in school, it will count towards you. So if you did miss that class, you could take it in after graduation. But those classes are very important, and you can be deemed ineligible. Now, that particular student, obviously, there was a waiver that we could file after the fact, but you file that waiver after the fact, and she did get eligible, but the scholarship's going. Because now you play, like, there's hundreds of thousands of student athletes that want to be a part of this 1%. So while you're eligible, guess what? They're like, well, I don't know. She ain't, she missing the class. I got to go get the other person off the list. So now you're missing. So it wasn't the school. They can't wait for you. You're competing with someone else. So I tell parents it's so important that, yes, we can fight and you can go. I'm a sue the NCAA. Go. While you're doing that, they're going to recruit somebody else for your kid's spot. So make sure ahead of time that you have all of these things in order.
Yeah, and watch your pockets too, because this is a multi-billion-dollar industry that you're trying to fight against.
Exactly.
Which is crazy. Oh man, this is getting good. This is getting good. Now, again, just like the high school, just like college transfer portal, it's become a high school transfer portal. In New York City, right now, we have over 80 kids that's transferring from other schools, right? And it's growing, right? We didn't even do our top 20 players and our rankings yet because there's so many kids moving, right? We want to wait till things kind of settle down, and that'll be like towards October 25th or October 20th when it all stops. Now, if I'm going from one school to the next, and certain grades that I took in one school or classes that is not, I can't carry over to the other school, who's at fault? Please explain that, because they need to understand this.
Well, and who's at fault? But this is parents. These are your children. So you are switching in schools. They cannot do this without your permission. So you need to pay attention because it will be your fault. Every school your student athlete attends, the moment they hit 9th grade, that eligibility clock starts. So from 9th grade and 4 years after that, they are going to count. The NCAA is going to count from there. Every school your child attends, the NCAA will require a transcript to be submitted from that school. So you can't just say, "Oh, I took that there. I don't want to count those grades. Those grades weren't that great. I'm going to go get that in 10th grade over here." Or even if you're like, "Well, I took English 9 here and Algebra 1, but I'm going to take Algebra 1 again at this school because I want to get a better grade, and this is probably easier over here." The NCAA is only giving you credit for one of those, and you will go on the grade scale of that school. And I say grade scale specifically. So if in your school, at the first school, you have a 10-point grade scale, and I'm just so that people understand, A, 90 to 100 equals an A, 80 to, whatever, 80 to 90 is a B, C, same. But you go to another school that a 70 is a D, and a 80 is a B, and a 90 is an A plus. They're going to go off based off that scale. So you can't be like, "Well, I got a 70 over here." They're like, "Well, my grading scale, that's a D." If you went to that other school, if I'm at my other school, that was a C. That was a C. It doesn't matter. The NCAA is going to take the scale of the school. And a lot of times parents don't understand that and they don't use this. So they go, "Oh, my child's GPA is a 3.0." And I'll be like, "No, boo. It ain't 3.0." Because at that school, they had a 2.5. And at this school, they got a 1.7. What are you talking about? They got 70s and 80s. Well, them 70s and 80s here are C's and D's. You know what I'm saying? So explaining that to parents, and that's why I do transcript evaluations. I do that. That's the first thing. No one works with me unless I see the transcript. People think that's crazy. I'm like, boo, I'm not about to shoot in the dark. I need to see what you're working with first before we can even have this conversation. And a lot of times in that transcript evaluation meeting, they start like, "No one told me. How was I supposed to know? What in the world? Why would they let me switch into the school?" That's not the school's job. The school's going to take the grades and they're going to say, "Hey, you can get accepted, you cannot." Well, the coach never told me. Why would they tell you? They want your kid. So this is part where the parents have to take back their rightful place and be involved in the admissions process, advocating for their kid, especially at the high school level, because you don't get these 4 years back.
It's so many kids I know that was affected by that same situation, had to go to junior college, couldn't go to the school that they needed to go to. Dave Brenton, what's up? What's up? What's up, my brother? Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who Dreams NYC? Yup, this is why it's important to aim for 85s or better.
That's right.
Yeah, but that 85 may not work in other school. It may be something else.
Yeah, but I like the 85 because at least
you got some room. You got some room.
B or A, right? Like at least you or B plus, right? Like you still up there. Just don't aim for no 70s. Them 70s could be C's and D's.
Oh man, yeah. Appreciate you, Jay. That's definitely on point. Definitely on point. Now, let's jump to another important subject that you talk about, and that's a hot topic throughout the country. Can you explain to me the positive and negative effect of reclassing?
Absolutely. Yeah, hot topic. Everybody want to reclass. And I'm gonna take it back to that statement I made. Why do we, in this sport particularly, basketball, want to do 99% of what everyone's doing when we're chasing the 1%? I just
hold on. I got say that again. Preach, sister. Preach.
Why do we want to do what 99% of everyone's doing? And we're chasing 1%. What is separating you from everybody else? What do you do different? Now, I say that, and then I'm going to say this next statement. Reclassification is not for everybody. There are some instances when, hey, I'm like, yeah, I see what you're doing there. I probably can help you. And most of the time, for me, it's going to be in middle school. I'm because the clock hasn't started. People always say, "Why do you say us better in the middle school?" Because your clock ain't started. I don't have to worry about competing with eligibility that has to be completed in 4 years, 8 semesters. Like I'm not messing with a clock. However, there are some that have tragedies in high school and a car accident, a death of a blood relative, a parent, moving state to state, army, a military family. Like I have different stories that I've seen kids that, in high school, yeah, that might be beneficial for you because you lost your home. And so then you had to go to another school and you're young enough for us to fix it so you can still be D1. I can understand that. Majority of everyone else, and I was like, let me watch my words very carefully. If your kid is 5'3",
Mm.
The likelihood of them becoming 6'5" is slim to none. So reclassing in 12 months is not going to turn a 5'3" kid to 6'5".
Mm.
If your kid is below 7th or 8th grade, so 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd, and you're reclassifying them, why? They cannot. You don't even know if they haven't even hit hormones. You don't even know where the growth spurt is. You don't even know what they're gonna be. And we have kids reclassing and repeating 4th grade, 5th grade. Huh? Like for what? There's no recruiting in that age group. So why are we even doing it? Reclassification, by definition of the NCAA, is changing the start of your high school year, and it's really you changing your graduation years. Either you're going to graduate early, or you're going to graduate late. So you have students that reclassify up, right? So you have like your AJ DeBonzas, Cooper Flag, they reclassed up. Now, other people that, they're going back to the original grade because they reclassed in middle school. Okay. Yes, they did. But I call it pseudo reclassification because the NCAA only considers reclassing from high school and up. You know why? Because that's when the clock starts. So anything before that, they don't. So now you have a lot of these sports academies and, little things popping up for 8th graders and 7th graders. And hey, I'm not anti them. I help create sports academies. I'm not. However, I had a wonderful time talking to Sam Brand, who's one of the directors with Team Mellow. And he has a nonprofit in Baltimore. And he was like, intent matters. So I stole it from him. I'm like, yes, this is good. Why are you reclassing? What is your intent behind this? Is it because you want your kid to look better at 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade and play down? Or you have a plan that's going to maximize their exposure academically, athletically, and they're going to get to the next level. And something happened in that year that you say, I need just one more year for this one. He is younger. He is going to hit a growth spurt because I'm 6'7". My wife is 5'11", and right now he's 5'6". So the likelihood of him growing, pretty high. So, or, things like that, right? He had a little heart murmur or a different situation, or she had this. There are factors that will help. He's just not mature enough.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Cake thing. Mature. Yes.
Immaturity.
Yeah.
This happened. But if we're in 11th grade, he's still not mature. Guess what? He's still not going to be mature. He's not ready for college. So I'm going to reclass. We're late. We're late to the game with that. Now, is it possible to still do it? Yes, but it's such a risk. So the benefits, you can have maturity. I've seen kids who reclass who are now playing Power 5, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Penn State, UNC, Duke. Because I love when parents say, a lot of people always say, oh, name me all the kids that reclass and they're successful. I'm like, you sure you want to do that? Because that's 90% of the college game right now. But I'm not. Oh, if they made it to the NBA, what? How do you think that the Thompson twins and all these kids that are 18, 19, 20 are in the league now? They didn't reclass. Like, sometimes I think people are not really talking about it. But I tell people all the time, those same kids that were going to be a part of that 1%, that were going to be a part of that extra, 1% and go pro, they already were standing out. There was something different about them before they even considered the reclass. So you have to ask yourself, what's your intent behind this? Is this something that's really going to help my human? You know your human better than I do. But my job, and I tell parents all the time, I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm for what's best for your human, your child. How are they going to do it? So yes, they can mature. Academically, they can get way ahead. They can, in turn, learn and find their voice and get confident. AJ DeBonza says in his interview, in 8th grade, he was kind of good, but he was already, hitting those numbers, but he wasn't confident enough. In order to go play in the NBA, you got to be a dog.
And super strong mentally. Like, you have to be super strong mentally.
And he knew he didn't have that in 8th grade. So he said, listen, I need one more year. And guess what? It worked out. Like everybody kids, I want them to be number 1. I want them to be top 10. I have the awesome opportunity of working with one of the top players in the country right now. That mental game, you can't get that overnight. You have to work at it from a young age. And so even families I work with now who some reclass, some who don't, I have mental health coaching a part of my program because at this point, it's purposeless not to have that. So that's another benefit. You're finding out how your son or your daughter triggers in that extra year. The pitfalls of reclassification, you do it wrong. Like at the end of the day, you're doing what everyone else is doing. I hate a waste of a reclass. I see the kid in 7th grade. I see the kid again in the next 7th grade. They playing on the same team. They look the same.
And no growth in the game.
No growth. Same thing, same team. Don't look better. Didn't grow no inches. Still getting mad at the refs. Still crying. Still, what was the purpose of this? Then, academically, they repeat the same classes. What was that point? So if you were going to reclass them up, you're still a year short because you didn't take advanced classes. So if I'm in 7th grade and I just take all my 7th grade classes again, how did that work out for you? No purpose. Now, you can take 8th grade classes. And I always get parents pushing back like, no, in my state, you can't do that. You can't do that in a public school. You can't reclass in public school. So why are we even talking? Reclassification, another pitfall is thinking that you can do it in the public school system. That's a free school that the government pays for. Their job is to graduate you in 8 years. If you start middle school 6 to 12, you graduate. They don't want you repeating. Yes, you pay taxes, but you pay for only those years. So no, you're not going to be able to do it. Reclassification is an expense. So in addition to this multi-billion-dollar business you're putting in youth sports, you add reclassification on it because you have to pay for it. You're going to pay for homeschool, a private school, some type of education, and it's going to cost you. So you really have to think, is it worth it? I'm going to have this kid in my house an extra year of groceries, extra year of protein, extra year of training, extra year of this. So I lay it all at the line. And when someone says still yes, this is what we want to do, that's when I know they're serious, because they start realizing like, oh, this is going to cost. This is serious. Extra year of doctor, hospital, maybe recovery, cryo, whatever you want to do, it's going to be an extra year. And so you have to have the intent behind it and really strategically. And the last pitfall is people who do this and that don't lay out a 4-year, 5-year plan. It's not a 1-year plan. So if you are going to reclass, I need to already know what high school we're looking at and then what we're looking at for college. Oh, I'm in 7th grade. We're just talking about middle school. Oh, then you're not talking about it right. The people that reclass, AJ DePonza, Cooper, those people, they knew they was going Power 5. And then they knew they were going to the league early. They planned for it. You don't plan for it, there's no success. And so I have these talks and I work with so many different families and everyone's story is different. And I tell families, it's not because I just don't want to work with everyone. I strategically handpick the people that actually end up working with me for reclass or not, because I need to know you understand what you're doing. And it goes down to this kid. And then I want to know what's the team you have surrounding you. So if you don't even have a team and we're sitting here talking about reclassification, I'm like, hey, babe, this is not going to work. You're not ready for it, because it is something that's going to keep happening. It's not going away. There are people, it's not fair. It's not this. This is not rec league basketball that we're talking about. We're talking about elite level. We can complain all we want. Did I reclass? No. But I also had the mindset that I was going to kill somebody when I get in the court. Like, I'm about to drop 30. I don't really care if you're 2 years older than me or 8 years older than you. I'm going to do it. There's some kids that should not reclass because you got it.
Right.
You got what it takes. So just do it. So my biggest thing is don't do what everyone else is doing.
Well, I have my guy Tony Wright on here, right? He's from New York City. He went to prep school. I think he went to prep school either in New England. I think he went to New England prep school. I forgot what's prep school. And this is like in the 80s. He was talking about how the kids who were reclassing back then, because reclassing is new in basketball, right? Mm-hmm. When we talking about in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, that they was doing it in hockey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where, it kind of started out, because, in hockey, you got a lot of physical players. You got kids who are talented, but they're not physically fit for the sport. And a lot of time their parents will reclass them so they could be, physically fit and ready for the sport to maintain those hits and the physicality of hockey. Mm-hmm. Right? And when he said that to me, I was just like, wow, and then you talk about basketball, we talk about some of those same things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I guess, immaturity or maturity had to come into play with that as well. So this has been going on a long time, but just that people just started exploring this in basketball in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and for me, our sport, particularly basketball, yes, we love to just exploit anything. Hockey, it's been going on in football forever.
That's right. Football too. Yeah.
Used to call it kinder reclass, and they still do it in the South. my kid is supposed to be in kindergarten. They holding them back from kindergarten because so they can go at 6. So they know, yeah, my kid definitely gonna be big. Or they putting them in kindergarten twice. They've been doing this in football, but no, we gotta go and make it big, and then have the kids playing down, and have it this way. And I'm like, come on, guys, like, why is it there? Yes, there has been big, even academically, even gymnasts, even people that are excelling in academics in the sports, and they excel in music and Juilliard. Guys, many of them reclass because academically they were behind, but they were really advanced in their classical training. But they had to do a school year. So many of them were taken out of high school and they were homeschooled, your gymnasts, your different things like that. And they were repeating grades, but no one knew because they were homeschooled.
That's right.
And then our basketball, oh, we gotta put it on it. Like, if you listen to some of these elite athletes who are professionals and all these, they're like, oh yeah, I'm kind. I did school, but like, I was like, we just did it on the set. Oh, all your actors or your actresses, how we know what grade they in? They was repeating grades because they was on sitcoms every day.
That's right.
Like, but basketball, we got to put. Let's play an age down. I'm gonna be 13 and play 10U. What? Where they do that?
Dominate.
And I'm about to dominate. And here's my thing: you're doing it for what? Because tell me what college coaches are there. Tell me what high school coaches are there. So you can get a trophy. We're not even getting prize money. Y'all just doing it for clout. It's very interesting to me. And it's like, why? Why even do it?
And the one thing they don't talk about is those kids who hit that ceiling, right? There's so many kids, so many superstars who are like 8th grade superstars or 9th grade. And then you look at them later on and they kind of disappear. They're not nowhere to be found, right?
It's more often than not. And that's why I say, you're human. You know what they're willing to do. And here's the thing, a lot of this disagreement, because in hockey and football, you don't hear parents bantering about reclass and all this. They just don't, because either your kid has got it or they don't. In basketball, for whatever reason, it's such a subjective sport that everyone thinks they can play it. I'm great. I'm going to be the next Michael Jordan. I'm going to be the next LeBron. Why? Why do people not do that in other sports? Football, I'm going to be next Tom Brady. No, they're not. They try. But we, in basketball, everybody know how to play basketball. All of a sudden, everybody going to be in the league. And I'm like, guys, seriously? And so it makes more people try to do this, but then they're doing it at the rec level. You're reclassing for rec. Your kid is not even circuit level. You are not even talking, like, you're not even playing outside your 5 boroughs. You're playing games in the same borough every week. And you talking about reclass? You ain't never seen the outside of your state lines. Jersey for New York don't count, even though it's outside, but you just went right there. Like, you haven't even gotten a plane to play. Like, and we're talking about this stuff. And sometimes, I felt I have to really hold myself back because I was like, I don't want to like crush people's dreams. But I also, this is the parents' fault. Like, what y'all talking about? Like, you paying for your kid to play. I work with kids that they don't pay to play, and people get shocked. Like, oh my God, they don't. So who pays? The organization, because it's sponsored, because they know that there's some potential in this, and they do. What? That happens in middle school? Yes, it does. There's levels to this, and so a lot of the times it's the crossing of the levels, and a lot of rec and mid-level athletes paying to play, but then I'm going to reclass. Why? Try to get off of that level first. Try to get out of your boroughs. Try to get invited to a camp that's not 2 states over. I'm just saying, get to the other side of the country where you're seeing athletes every day do this and they're not reclassing. Like, expose yourself to this other side of this game,
I tell parents, what do you want to take? The red pill or the blue pill? do you really want to know the truth? Right? Have you explored teaching parents about NIL, or are you still learning about that? Like,
I am. I'm still learning about it, but here's the thing. And just like in sports and just like everything I've ever taken in life, I do what I do well. I do academics. I do eligibility. So what I do is I find people who specialize in it. So I have partners in the game who have killed it. Squeaky Moore is a parent, and I love this. Her son is Malachi.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that interview.
Makai. And she's killing it. And then I have Aisha Foy, who's in 757. She's out of Boo Williams, and she wrote her own book. She used to be Kentucky recruiting director, but she does NIL, and that's her space. She was voted like 50 under 50 because she's like 20 something, but like one of the most influential people in the NIL space. So I find partners, I market with them, and I get on there. And what Squeaky does and what Aisha does, they know how to attack it from a way so that the parents understand. And for me, anybody you ever see me partner with is going to put the parents back in the driver's seat. Youth sports, for whatever reason, when we, especially in sport of basketball, we always get to a space where our kid is doing it, but a coach said, but a coach said, but a coach said. And I was like, did the coach decide when you was going to get born, were they going to wear a dress or pants? Like, you the parent. So what did the parents say? What do you say? They give the coaches all this freedom to do what they want with their child. No, that's your job, parent. And then we partner with you as coaches to put your kids. So these people that I use with the NIL space, they give the parents the power and the information. So they're making it. They ask the parents, hey, what do you say of your child? What kind of brand do you want to build? This is how you build brand deals, and they work along. So anyone I work with is not going to be like NIL, and then here's an agent, and I'm going to take 10% of what your future earnings. Now, I'm not working with that person.
Makes sense. Listen, I want to have some fun with you real quick before we get out of here. Let everybody know where they can find you at, all your handles, and if you have a website, just let everybody know.
Yes, it's as simple. It's my name, Shanay Y. Howard. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm even on Facebook, but my main platforms, you will find me on Instagram and TikTok under Shanay Y. Howard. Thank you so much, Michael.
No doubt. Michael Walker, photographer extraordinaire. Appreciate you, brother. So we got a segment that called the Top 5. We're going to have some fun with that. All right?
All right.
Some people call it the hardest part of the show, but
let me brace myself.
All right, let's go.
Top 5. Top 5.
All right, Shanay. Let's have some fun real quick. Okay. Top 5 players you played with.
Wow. Top 5 players. Okay, so I'm gonna go in college. Jen Walkling, Mercedes Walker. Jasmine Lawrence in high school. Siobhan Martin. So that's 4. And then me. I'm gonna top me. I do what I do well. Shanay's in my own top 5.
I'll let you get away with it because you went to FTU. I don't usually let people put themselves in the top 5, but you get a pass right now.
Yeah.
All right. Top 5 players you played against.
Man, Crystal Bellinger, Nicole, Slinky, Michael. I'm going to throw Marissa Flagg on there. She was younger than me, but she could go to work. Rosalind Golden-Wude, who's now a commentator. She went to Malloy. She used to drop buckets. And I'm going to throw Jasmine in there too, because we was in the same division. And she was at Francis Lewis. She used to just kill us. Jasmine Lawrence.
No doubt. Okay. Now, from your perspective, the top 5 women players in New York City history, from your perspective.
Sheesh. Sue Bird. Wow. That's hard because I'm like,
If you know, you only that you know. Everybody top 5 is different.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sue Bird, Epiphany Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That I don't got it. Slink was up there. She's good because she broke some records, and that's it. I don't really know that made some major impact besides Sue, Epiphany Prince.
You got Nisha Butler.
And she's a little bit past my time, but she's in. Yeah. That's all I got for you.
And you fulfill it, Dickinson, so I'm helping y'all. Shamika Holslaw.
Oh yeah, I don't know why. You know what? I always forget her, but she went to Crazy King too. So I should say everyone from Crazy King. Then, so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, whole squad for sure.
Yes, Crazy King has a whole bunch of them. You could have just said a whole 5 for Crazy King.
Exactly. But Sue is in my era. You know, my time frame. Slink is in my time frame. Piff is in my.
Slinky was nice at Syracuse.
Slinky was nice at Oaks Martin. Slinky was a nice. Like,
we need to get on the show. Like, Definitely.
Yeah. And I'm Snake. I'm Priscilla Edwards, who's the head coach of North. She was nice. I don't know why I forgot my lefty. She's one top I've ever played against, and one top. Harlem finest. Yes.
Got you. If is it one thing that you could change about your career? What would it be?
Presently, like right now, if one thing I could.
Just in your basketball career, we talking about.
I would have helped my team go to the tournament. I would have loved to experience tournament from a player's perspective. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. That's dope. Listen, Shanay, it's been great having you on the show, communicating with you, learning so many new things. Like I said, I follow you. If y'all haven't checked out Shanay on Instagram, TikTok, please check her out. Check out her videos. Parents, student athletes, everybody who wants to learn about what you need to do to get to the next level in college and be successful. And then it's all on you from there. But I definitely recommend you watching the videos. Very captivating and very educational. So I want to thank you, Shanay. I appreciate you. And look, I want to say this, right? You did what you need to do at Towson to be one of the greatest players in New York, because not a lot of people that came out of there that did what you did. So I want to say super salute to you. And we locked in, Fairleigh Dickinson. Whenever you're in the city and you doing the event, I'm gonna come and pull up. Let me know, and show you some love. All right.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. I truly am honored and grateful for you to give me this platform to share.
Nah, no doubt. We appreciate you. Shanay Howard, everybody.
Thank you.
Doubt. Wow. See, look, you never know, right? You never know how life could turn out. When education is the key and focus, things work out in the end. A lot of times we put education on the back burner and we kind of confuse when that ball start bouncing. Sooner or later, that ball is going to start bouncing. All right. And even before that, when you're trying to get into the sport, you got to know what steps to take for you to be successful. A lot of times we got student athletes who aren't sure what classes to take. We got counselors who are in schools that aren't educated on what they need to do with the NCAA clearinghouse. We need to be educated as a community and also as people who are leaders in the community, keep helping these student athletes prevail. So I want to thank Shanay Howard for everything she's doing for student athletes all across the country. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. That's what it's all about, man. Got to educate and give back. Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. For those who haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you subscribe to the show. Hit that like button. Hit that notification bell so you can know what's going on. All right? This is Glenn Pooh Harding, Basketball Heads. Y'all know what it is. The official home for New York City basketball. Peace.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online. Buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.